Good afternoon. How y'all guys doing today? I've been on nose only, just having some fun, poking the bear. Just speaking my opinion. I hope nobody takes things personal. We can agree to disagree. We all don't have to agree. I hate the fact that some people think because people are speaking their mind, they're not supporting the team, or they're not. I think over the past few years, people have grown frustrated as other schools have gotten better and we haven't, and we're losing the schools that we should be beating. In the case I've already discussed, I thought Wake Forest would be a challenge, and normally Wake Forest is a challenge, even when Florida State's good, because Wake Forest does something that we don't think about doing, and not saying we should. Wake Forest is going to they're going to go out, they're going to recruit guys, and they're going to develop them. They're not necessarily going to land top prospects, the fastest player, the highest jumping player, but they go out, their staff identifies needs and wants and coaches them up, develop them, get them bigger, faster, and stronger, and makes pretty decent football players, and they play together as a team. We have a lot of talent on the roster. I don't know, the last three coaching staffs can't seem to put it together and get the talent flowing one way. We look inept. We look like we're lost. We're not making plays. We hired two coordinators last year, come in with the new staff. And for whatever reason, the defensive staff, especially outside of the defensive line, and obviously we know who our defensive line coach is, Odell Hagens, but for the most part, we can't cover. We can't get off the field. Against Jacksonville State, we had 5 sacks and almost 30 pressures, but could not get a third down stop. Jackson State stopped us on 4th and goal, and they drove the length of the field and scored. So, excuse about the spitting right there. But like I say, I don't have all the answers. I'm a fan. I've been a fan since 1984. I was blessed one time to be able to step on Doak Campbell Stadium. I practiced on the field. I've been to a few camps in my high school days. I did have a scholarship, had a couple of scholarship offers, but I chose to do other things with my life. So I'm not trying to tell people to change people's thought process or anything, but just as a fan, it's very frustrating when you see how the team is playing. And obviously the coach we just fired went to a smaller school. His retention bonus is more than he makes now at Florida State. He's at FAU. He makes about $800,000 a year, and his retention bonus at FSU is more. We're a big-time program. People put a lot of money and spend a lot of money on the program, and I'm going to discuss some of the numbers later because of the loss we had last week to Jacksonville State, who we paid $400,000 to, and just $100 million budget, and you're 0-3. You spend the second most money behind Alabama, and all these are pre-pandemic numbers. I don't even think they released a lot of numbers. Everybody kind of broke even or took a loss in some form or fashion, even the top schools, because they took a hit on parking and attendance, because stadiums, you couldn't have a lot of people in the stadiums. So everybody took a hit in some form or fashion. And this season's not over, so you won't be able to gauge until everything's turned in. But before the pandemic, Florida State ranks second, number 1 in the ACC, second in the nation in operating budget and expenses. We're right behind Georgia, Clemson, Texas A&M, and a couple other schools with our recruiting budget. And right now, the product on the field after the Notre Dame game. And I'll be first one to tell you, I don't believe in moral victories, but during the Notre Dame game, I saw a team fight. I saw a team play. Guys make plays. Guys lay it on the line. And I was the first person to say, if they play like that every week, then we'll be in every ball game and have a chance to win. And maybe we can turn this thing around. Obviously, it hasn't worked. And I know people say, well, Notre Dame's overrated. I'm not worried about that. Notre Dame's Notre Dame. Right now, we're not even Florida State. We're whatever we are. But we're not playing like the Seminoles. We're not playing like we should be playing or how the Garnet and Gold should be represented. A lot of people and myself are just wanting to know what are the standards. My question going forward is, what are our expectations and what are the standards that you want to see? Because if the standard is ACC dominance, contending for national championships, then we're definitely off the mark. And if the AD comes out and he says 6-6 isn't good enough, then are we going to just say, well, we give you a pass last year? Well, Clemson, Alabama, and other schools didn't need a pass. Ohio State did. Ohio State and the Big Ten and the Pac-12 didn't want to play football, which all of us people knew that eventually they was going to play, because if you see other teams on TV playing, you're not going to lose that revenue, and you're going to want your team to have a chance to make the playoff. So we had the season start. Next thing we know, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten said we're going to start up. So everybody had tough situations. It just wasn't Florida State. It was a lot of schools, but they adapted and overcame. So at this point now, my question is I'm not concerned with money. And obviously it ain't none of my money, but I know boosters and I know trustees and I know the people that are making decisions and investing money in this program. We're spending the money to get the results, but we're not getting the results. So is it our players? Is it the coaches? Or is it the system? Or are we just not doing a good job? Outside of the first game, the last two games, and I will say that Jacksonville State does get transfers from big-time colleges. But overall, they don't recruit at the level that we recruit at. Wake Forest doesn't operate at the level that, I was looking at something right there earlier because I'm out here on the strike line in Bama country, in Tuscaloosa at Warrior Met. I'm a coal miner. I've been on strike since April 1st. I've been out of work since January. So this is just part of it. I work a little piss poor, shit ass job, but I got to do what I got to do till I find a better job. And right now I'm on strike, hope, believe, and we'll get back to work. Because I'm just the average Joe, and it's hard to turn down a 6-figure job and just go make $300 a week, which is pretty much what I'm doing now, and just trying to survive. So I was just took a second to look at something and think about it. But back to what I was saying. Does anybody? I don't have the answers. I thought I knew what I was talking about, because I thought we would beat Jacksonville State. I thought we would beat Wake Forest. But my question now becomes, who is in the player scouting department? Who is in the player development department? Because the last two teams we played in particular, we've gotten beat. And again, these guys go out and they get the kids that don't get to go to Florida State. They get the kids that don't get to go to Miami and Alabama and Clemson and USC and UAB, and Wake Forest beat us. Look at the scoreboard. Red shirting, developing, going out, getting tough-minded kids, disciplined kids, going out and finding folks that fit what you want. So we're always looking for the hot, sexy, big-name coach. Me personally, I know and you know they're not going to fire the man. They're going to give him one more year. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but to be fair to the situation, he should be gone. It is what it is. Nothing personal, it's just business. But he'll get another year. But my question is, are we hiring the person to do the job? I think we may need to look, if it comes to it. I hope Norvell can turn it around, but if not, we may just look at getting a football coach. Not worry about the splash or the big time hire or the big name. We may need to look into getting a guy that with 25 or 30 scholarships, or however many scholarships on an 85-man roster he's allotted a year, look at getting probably 10 to 15 more guys that are more tough-minded and more disciplined, and we may have to red shirt to build, and then sprinkling in some 4 and 5 stars around them, and do that. I don't know. I'm sitting up here on a Sunday after the game. I looked at YouTube and War Chant, and I've been on in Knowles only having fun, messing with y'all, but I don't have an answer. It's frustrating because it's not only is it Florida State, not only is it the Seminoles, but it's an expectation at the school. And let me just say this. I know people want to talk about the lost decade, but if Bobby Bowden hires a quarterback coach and an offensive coordinator instead of Jeff Bowden and Daryl Dickey, I guarantee you he wins at least one more national championship, if not two, because the 2002, 2003, and 2014 were loaded. And I'm talking about loaded in the two deep. But because of coaching decisions and after Darlin died, and we kind of did not push in our strength and conditioning program, that's happened. Now, after 2004, yes, 2005, 6, 7, and 8. No, not 8, because 2008 we won 9 games. His last season is 2009. Jimbo Fisher comes in, and he brings in some new coaches, starts to build onto facilities and update things, and we look like Florida State. We won a national championship. He trusted Charles Kelly instead of going out and getting a real defensive coordinator and making changes to the staff that were needed to keep the program moving, and it started to slip. It did, because we had a national championship team in 14, 15, and 16, but because of coaching decisions and different things in the program, we took a step back, him bickering with the administration. Then we bring in Willie Taggart, and from the jump, Willie was just outclassed. I agree with that. I agree. Willie did a lot of things that he shouldn't have done. The music in practice, which at time you don't think about that. You're just like, oh, well, he's coaching. But when you watch the games, unorganized, kids dancing, but no play, no fire, and we still got some of the top players in the country on our roster, and we're not getting it done. Now, obviously, last year, Norvell's first year, a lot of people naturally give a pass because the pandemic. I don't buy that. We did beat North Carolina, but now it's 2021, and we're 0-3. We got Louisville next week. They're going to come in. They're going to want to beat us. Everybody wants to beat us, so it's not a problem, because everybody feels like we got to kick this team while they're down, because we know they're going to make changes eventually, and they're going to get it right. That's one thing I will say that other programs realize. Hey, Florida State don't mind getting a coach, don't mind paying people to get rid of them so they can get the program back right. So for the next year or two, teams this is their Super Bowl, and they're going to come out and they're going to play because they want to get a victory, and they want to be able to say, hey, I beat Florida State. So I'm not sure. I'm frustrated like you guys. I'm listening to no War Chant. They're trying to figure out, we know the defense ain't going to stop nobody, but what are we doing on offense? Everybody's frustrated. Former players are frustrated. I can only imagine the people that are signing these huge checks and giving this big money and are not getting any investment, any return on their money. So, I'm open for suggestions. Hey, if you don't like me, you don't like me, you don't like what I say, but I just like to listen to you guys' opinion. I love to get on the websites. And like I say, I still believe when the AD comes out and says 6 and 6 isn't good enough, he set a precedent, and we need to keep that. And if that means ruffling some feathers, then we need to, because it's just unacceptable. But I guess losing has become accepted, and mediocrity has too. And, we'll move on from there. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have any answers, man. A guy asked me a question on YouTube the other day, and I just told him, true, I don't know. Because I just knew in my heart we would come out and play lights out against Jacksonville State, get some confidence, get a lot of young guys in, and really look towards to trying to finish this season strong and being competitive. So, it is what it is, guys. Go Noles. Let's just keep fighting, and hopefully next week they'll turn it around. In my heart, I don't think they will, but I'm believing we'll turn it around and get it on track and hopefully ride this ship off. Once you start getting a couple of victories, getting one victory first, it's going to start to turn. Then you get 2 victories. Then people will say, okay, we're seeing some progress. You can make all the progress you want, but if you're not winning, then what are you doing? Like, there's no more. We already established there's no moral victory. So it's no more all these are little victories. We see progress. Progress is in wins and losses. Like I say, I'm in Tuscaloosa right now. I'm in Brookwood, Alabama. All I got to do is drive up this road, turn right at the CMO, which is the Central Mine Office of Warrior Met, make a right, go down 216, and it'll run you right straight into 5 Points, right straight into the heart of Tuscaloosa, close to McFarland and Skyland, and I'll be following signs, and I'll be right there less than 30 minutes. I'll be at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So there's no such thing as moral victories. People think the fan base in Florida State is rough. You try listen to these fools when they lose. It's suicide. People think I'm joking, but people have to put folks on suicide watch. A couple of years ago, Alabama lost to Auburn and a lady shot somebody. And it was an African-American lady at that. I mean, like, I live this stuff. Like, y'all, whatever y'all think in these groups, how bad it is nothing compared to when Alabama lose. And this is even with St. Nick. Like, people just go crazy down here. I mean, folks live like, I feel bad, but I'm able to be a professional and do my job. But literally, they have to talk to people to have counseling. They have to put people on suicide watch. So, I mean, just get used to it. Either take the constructive criticism and do better, or join another group, man. Join a group and make your rules where you can't say nothing bad about nobody. People don't want to be negative, but what we're getting is negative on the field. So a lot of people, when they see negative, they're returning the negative energy because they're getting a bunch of garbage on the field. I mean, I don't even want to go that last play against Jacksonville State. But again, guys, I hope y'all have a good week of practice. Hope y'all focus, listen to your coaches, follow the game plan, and come out Saturday and play hard. So I'm going to leave y'all with that, man. Like I say, like, subscribe to the channel, what they're talking about. Comment, tell me what's going on. Y'all have a good evening on this Sunday. And excuse me, I don't know. It's just shocking. So we'll see. That's all we can see. We'll see Saturday. Until then, bye-bye.